Good morning. Welcome back.
We're back.
Yes. I hope, Mr. Namodi, that we have some white smoke.
I will allow your lordship to make up your own mind about it, but we have progress to report.
Okay. So it's 11:43 a.m. Quorum must be full.
My Lord, with your permission.
Yes.
My name is Ongengu.
Mr.
Ongengu.
Yes.
I want to be from Star Amunga for the chairman, Country Education Board, Professor Mark.
Okay. Mr. IGP, you're still under oath, and we will proceed with the hearing.
Thank you very much, my Lord.
Yes.
I've met with my team, and we have consulted widely on the matter in question. My Lord, what I would like to state is that on 2nd July 2026, the sub-county police commander with the petitioners they went to enforce the order but the team was met with a lot of hostility. The hostility was from the public, parents, and at the same time, my Lord, the school was in sanction. And in the best interest of the pupils, due to security consideration, the mission to enforce was abandoned. My Lord, as I had said there earlier, the area is volatile considering the fact that the school is surrounded by informal, densely populated areas. Such as Mukuru kwa Jenga, Sinai, and the Rugaruga slums. The Sub-County Security Committee did a sabo after they failed in that mission and they wrote to the Regional Security Intelligence Committee on the 13th July stating very, very clearly the difficulties they faced when they went to enforce the order on 2nd July 2026. and they sought for guidance from that security committee. My lord, that matter is at the regional security committee now, as we discussed. And once it is deliberated upon, putting into context the security status, the sub-county security committee will get a feedback, or alternatively, the matter will be escalated to the National Security Council Committee.
You said escalated to National
Security Council Committee, NSCC. The Inspector General is a member of the National Security Council Committee. Together with other heads of security agencies. My lord, the current position is that the Regional Security Committee is seized of the matter that was forwarded to it by the Sub-County Security Committee. And I am looking forward to getting a report at that level, or alternatively, as I have said, they can still be able to guide the Sub-County Security Committee on what needs to be done. So, whichever the outcome, I would request that we give a period of 1 month whereby then you can report back to the court onto the finding. I submit, my lord.
I'll ask you, Inspector General, a few supplemental questions based on the information you have shared to the court. First question, are you aware that an affidavit was filed in court, sworn and filed in court by Felix Mwangangi, the third petition, in relation to what happened at the school premises on 2nd of July 2026?
I'm aware, my lord.
You are aware?
Before Learned Council proceeds,
Yes, said is aware.
before I'm not objecting to the line that Learned Council is taking, but my lord, perhaps before he proceeds, the Inspector General has responded to the question that the court has asked.
Okay, that was his response.
Yes, the Inspector General has responded to the question that the court has asked, and there isn't any reaction. The cross-examination continues.
Okay.
He has given a detailed brief of what is happening on the ground with enforcement and implementation, including the attempts that have been made to enforce the order. And perhaps it would be appropriate at this juncture, because it is an interaction between the court and the Inspector General, for there to be a position recorded and taken by court in respect of that response from the IG.
I have taken note, including the reference that there can be escalation of the matter to the National Security Council, a committee, of which he is a member, as are other members of security organs.
Yes, madam.
That has been noted.
Yes.
Yes.
And he has then requested for a period of 30 days to then report back as to the status of that implementation. Because what he is saying is that it has been taken up by the National Security.
Yeah, that is okay. That is okay. If you may allow me to take charge of these proceedings, Mr. Nyamodi. My intention is to have reactions from petitioners and also from the respondents. I was going to give everyone an opportunity, then I'll ask a question myself.
I don't intend to interfere with the manner in which your lordship
Yes.
is proceeding.
Yes.
But there has been an answer, and there is now a fresh line of argument, a fresh line of questioning, as if that answer has not been made.
No, the answer has been made. It is on record. It is on record, and it will be available in as proceedings, as part of these proceedings. Yes. So let me just. Anything else from the petitioners before I give
Yes.
the opportunity to the
Yes,
respondents?
Yes, the Inspector General of Police has testified on oath. He's made some statements, and so we are asking follow-up questions in view of the statements made. And the first question I asked you is whether you're aware of this affidavit of Felix Mwangangi sworn on 2nd July 2026 and filed in court. Your answer was?
2nd of July.
Yes. The date is on the page with the signature, the last page.
My lord, may I assist you?
Yes.
Are you aware of that affidavit?
No, I'm not aware of this affidavit. No.
Okay, let me have the affidavit back. In this affidavit, what transpired in in Gatoto Primary School on 2nd of July has been explained. And the affidavit of Felix Mwangangi states that the OCS, the OCPD, the deputy OCS accompanied the petitioners to the school. You are aware of that?
That is what I mentioned, that on 2nd July, my round,
Okay.
that they were accompanied to the school.
Yes. You are aware that when they arrived at the school, they found a crowd of between 30 to 40 people at the entrance to the school. Are you aware?
My round, I'm aware that there was hostility, serious hostility, when they arrived there. But the numbers, I'm not aware.
Are you aware that when they arrived, they did not face hostility at the beginning?
I'm aware that on arrival there they faced hostility. My lord, that is why they decided, upon considering all the factors that I've mentioned, informal settlement, densely populated, children, school on sanction, the security component decided that it is not possible to go on. because of the security implications that could arise out of that, my lord.
Are you aware that when your officers arrived at the premises, the gates of the school were closed?
I'm not aware of how the gates were, my lord.
Are you aware that your officers made no attempt to get into the school compound?
My lord, I'm not aware of that, but I'm aware that from what I have gotten from my team is that they faced hostility and they made a decision that any attempt to enforce the order at that particular time could have resorted to serious security implications, which they reasoned that they must abandon. And
Are
hence,
you aware that there is actually live video footage of what happened in the school that morning?
Well, again, it would be a good opportunity, if the video exists, for learned counsel to have that video available.
Can we be allowed to cross-examine, and when we need to make reference to it, we will? It is in court. Are you aware that there is live video footage of what transpired that morning?
my lord, I'm not aware.
So you are giving evidence without having looked at the available information to guide your statement to the court?
My lord, my statement to this court is as to the reason why this order has not been enforced. And I have indicated that on 2nd July, my team, together with the petitions, they went there. But they faced hostility. And a consideration was made that if they went ahead, there were serious consequences affecting security. And for that reason, they abandoned. And when they went back, they escalated that matter to the Regional Security Committee to consider and advise them on the way forward.
Okay, next question. Based on the information you've received, by the way, the video is attached to paragraph 17 of that affidavit. You will have an opportunity to look at it later. Based on the information you received, how many police officers went to the school premises on 2nd of July, 2026?
My lord, I don't know the number of police officers who went there in totality, but
No, that was the question. It was a simple question. Next question. Based on the information you've received, and your experience with the National Police Service, how many officers do you need to ensure security at Gatoto Primary School?
my lord, there before I did indicate
It's
that.
a simple question. How many officers do you need to ensure security at Gatoto Primary School?
My lord, that answer is only possible upon receiving report from the Regional Security Committee, where it has actually been escalated because of security considerations.
Okay,
That's the
fine.
only time we can be able to get to know the number of platoons, the number of police officers that we can be able to deploy to ensure
Okay.
that there is adequate security to enforce.
So you said that information can only come from the Regional Security Committee. Of which region?
Nairobi region.
Nairobi region. Is there any member of that Regional Security Committee, Nairobi Region, present in court this morning?
No, the members present, my lord, are from the Sub-County Security Committee, but they have confirmed it to me that they have already escalated, and I have seen a letter written and
Okay.
directed to the Regional Security Committee.
Who is present in court from the Sub-County Police Committee that has initially dealt with this matter?
My lord, I have the Sub-County Police Commander herself here, and her team.
Just one person? What is her name?
Sub-County Police Commander.
My lord, she's one of the officers who had been summoned by the court.
What is her name?
My name is Mrs. Judith Nyongesa, SSP, Sub-County Commander Makadara.
Do you have any other officer from that sub-county police committee of Makadara present in court?
Yes, sir.
They are here.
We have the DCC.
Yes, I'm here. I'm the chairman. The supposed police.
The DCC is here.
Have the sub-county police officers indicated to you during your consultation how many police officers they need to ensure security at Gatoto Primary School?
My lord, as I have said there before, Gatoto Primary School is situated in a densely populated area.
That the question, and I'm going to become firm, the question is not about security in the settlement. It's about security in the school. And the question is very simple. Have you been informed of the number of police officers required to maintain security at the primary school? Yes or no?
No, I have not been informed of the numbers.
Do you want some extra time to consult your officers on the number of officers you need to maintain security at Gatoto Primary School?
My lord, I request that you kindly guide the proceedings. And this is the basis of my request.
Yes.
My lord, the proceedings seem to be metamorphosizing. Questions are being asked, issues are being put to the witness, and he is responding as best he can. My concern is that along this trajectory, it is open-ended. The questions might not ever completely be asked, and the questions might never end. That was the reason, my lord, I requested at the beginning that the issue to be addressed by the police officers before you this morning, in deference to the summons that you had issued, needed to be crystallized and framed. Otherwise, it is open-ended. Why haven't you complied? How many police officers do you need? What gender will they be? When do they need to be there? It is possible to go on and on, ad infinitum.
But is that really the position, Mr. Nyamodi?
My lord, from where I sit, it appears.
The question really that brings us to court on this Friday afternoon is compliance with the court orders.
My lord, the answers seem to be lost because what the Inspector General has said, which is important, and you will allow me just to amplify it.
Yes, let me just explain the context here. The thing is, we all seem to agree that there has not been compliance. Is that what is agreed, or that is not the case?
My lord, that is agreed, and there is an explanation on record as to an occurrence of the 3rd of July. Second of July.
Yes.
And what has happened after that? And
What therefore would be objectionable from the questions that senior counsel is asking?
my lord, what the Inspector General has said,
Yeah.
and I think it is what is being lost, and as his counsel, I think I just want to amplify that, is that there are security implications broader than just in the school for enforcing the court order? And when the Inspector General answered that question, Learned Senior Counsel said that does not matter. How many do you need to enforce the order in the school? Now, the Inspector General has a responsibility broader than the school. He has brought that to bear, and it is lost. He's saying that to enforce that order, there are other implications, it may result in other security implications, hence the escalation to the sub-county and to the regional security committee. That has been left, and we are back again to the question, how many police officers do you need to enforce the order in the school? There is an answer on record. It is important.
Doesn't that go to the difficulty that has been alleged in enforcing the court orders?
But my lord, we are now back to the micro issue of how many do you need to enforce in the school. And that is a micro issue. He has brought out the broader macro issue that there are, because of the complexities in the matter, and he has been at pains to explain it, there are other implications in enforcing the order. And it is the
what we will
responsibility of the
do,
police service.
I think what we will do, Mr. Nyamodi, how much more time do you require, Mr. Kanja?
My lord, I just want to get the officer with the command responsibility of the police to give a reasonable commitment to enforce the court order in the shortest time possible. Failing which, we will then address the court on which orders we ask the court to take. This is something that would have taken 1 minute, but it might take longer because what we are finding is evasion and obstruction. This has been the pattern of proceedings for a few months now. And this is the opportunity to resolve the matter once and for all. It seems that this particular area is being treated as of even greater security challenges than any other space or geographical area in Kenya. Not even State House Nairobi, not even the military barracks, no other area in Kenya is being treated with this kind of approach, whereby the police are unable to provide security, even after the court has requested. So the only thing we want to do, and we hope we can finish in the next 5 minutes, is to get clarity about what it takes. Because if the Inspector General of Police is not able to comply with his constitutional responsibility under the Constitution of Kenya to provide peace to every part of Kenya, then we will take the necessary directions from the court. For now, that is what we seek to have answered. And the advantage we have, which unfortunately some of the persons present do not have, is we have visited the premises. And the court, together with the court, we know what is happening there. We visited the premises before the judgment. We visited the premises after the court gave orders for enforcement. Several of the council here, they know what is the situation. They are actually aware of part of the information that has been given to the Inspector General of Police being inaccurate. But because we cannot give evidence from the bar, we are just trying to focus on a very specific issue. We want compliance. And we recognize that what has been happening before is that the officers under the National Police Service have been purporting to introduce complications that are not there on the ground. You have 40 people, the officers are not even able to address them and tell them, please make way, we're enforcing a court order. They sit back and then they start saying, oh, there is intimidation in the school. So they are abdicating their responsibility. So what we are trying to do is to spend just 4 or 5 minutes to confirm, yes, that the Inspector General of Police will not countenance the abdication of responsibility. So my question to you, IG, is this. And if you need more time to consult, tell us. There is no geographical region in Kenya of 3 or 4 acres that you can tell us that the IG of police in Nairobi cannot provide security. Operational issues involve number of officers, and you can carry out an operation even when there is riot, public riot and loss of security. You do that all the time. I just want you to tell us how many officers you will need to enforce security at Gatoto Primary School. Even when thousands of Kenyans have come to the streets, the police have gone to provide security, and in some occasions, even caused violence to those people there. We are asking you just to use the lawful power that you have to provide security. And my question is simple. How many officers do you need to ensure security of Gatoto School, where there are children going to school every day and being educated? How many officers do you need? Please answer the question.
My Lord, as I've said there before, the issue that we're discussing is a wider and a bigger and a complex issue when we look at matters security. It is not possible, my Lord, just to go straight and execute the orders. But the outcome is the one that we also need to put into perspective. My Lord, in order for us, for myself and my team to make decisions, we also depend upon others. We need intelligence, my Lord, of the area. And that is why the information that have been escalated to the Regional Security Committee is being chaired by the Regional Commissioner of Nairobi, because he has got the infrastructure that goes up to the ground and get the appropriate intelligence coupled with what is provided by the National Intelligence Security, because a member of that is also a member of that Regional Security Committee. Based on that, my Lord.
So I'll cut you short because you answered my questions. You've answered enough. So in regard to the number of officers, your current answer is you do not know, correct?
Because I need information, I need intelligence report that tells me this is what could most likely happen.
Very well, thank you. The response has been taken, you do not know. The regional commissioner, the one you said chairs the regional, is called regional what?
The regional commissioner.
That organ is called the regional?
The Regional Security Intelligence Committee.
Regional Security Intelligence Committee. That regional commissioner, is he a member, he or she? Is he or she a member of the National Police Service?
No, he's not a member of the National Security Committee.
Of
he's not a member of the
National Police Service?
No, not a member.
So,
but
he's an officer of which government agency?
My Lord, again, the purpose of the witness testifying is not to educate counsel. Again, I believe we're losing our way, and it is becoming a general interrogation and haranguement of
I have
the
given
Inspector General.
Mr. Kanja, Senior Counsel, time to conclude his cross-examination. And with respect, Mr. Nyamwadi, we may not be able to conclude if there will be interjection after every 3 minutes.
Well, no, the cross-examination takes place within very clear parameters. And my objection, my Lord, is that Mr. Kanjama is persistently straying outside those parameters.
Mr. Nyamwadi, we have 6 more witnesses today. 6 more. We have to go through that list. I really would like to have this matter concluded, and I would request that interjections be only made where strictly necessary.
My Lord, I would not interrupt your proceedings if I did not feel it was necessary. That is not me, and that is not my
I would
style.
request then that you keep to your way you ordinarily would.
Are you saying, my Lord, that
I am
sit
not
down and
accusing
take my
you. I'm
peace?
not accusing you of anything. I'm just requesting that if we can have these proceedings concluded. Mr. Kanyama, please go ahead and let's
Yes.
wrap this up.
You said that chair of the Regional Security Committee is called Regional, what's his name again? The title? Regional?
Commissioner,
Regional Commissioner is an officer under which agency of government?
he is an officer under the national government. He is actually a national government administrative officer.
Is under NGAO, National Government Administration Office, which is under the executive. And is not part of the police service.
He's not part of the
Correct.
police service.
Article 245 of the Constitution, paragraph 2b, says the Inspector General shall exercise independent command over the National Police Service and perform any other functions prescribed by national legislation. In your view, does the regional commissioner exercise police power in Kenya?
In my road,
Yes.
this is a committee, a security committee that sits down together with other members, including the regional police commander, who is a member of that committee. The regional police commander, my road, is the officer who is responsible for security of Nairobi region, for that matter.
The regional police officer,
Yes,
that is an officer under your command.
but a member of the regional security committee.
What I'm asking is that chair of the regional security committee, is that chair a police officer
No.
or an officer under your command?
My road, the chair of that committee is not a police officer under my command.
Okay. Your exercise of independent command of the National Police Service, is it subject to directions by the regional officer?
My road, it is not subject to the direction of the regional police, of the regional commissioner.
Okay.
However,
No, you've answered the question. You've answered the question. Are you able to take direct charge and command over this security operation in Gatoto Primary School as the Inspector General of Police?
my road, I am able.
If the court directs you, because that is not my job, if the court directs you to take direct command, how long will you need to enforce the court order?
My road, I requested that we get a month to enable us gather all what is required and report back to this court that this is where we are in the direction of enforcing that court order.
Gatoto Primary School is closing within the next few days, less than a week, for the August holidays. Are you able to take over the security and facilitate the court orders within a week of today?
My lord, in order to make that decision, I require other informations. And my lord, I did indicate the reason as to why I need that.
Okay, thank you.
I have just two questions for him.
Yes, go ahead.
IT card, I heard you say that the matter will be, or has been, or will be escalated to the National Security Committee where you sit.
National Security Committee Council.
National Security Council, yes. Yes, you said so.
No, I said the National Security Council Committee. That
Not
is it.
the council itself.
Not the council itself. It can only be escalated there if this intermediate committee finds that there's need for that level of advice.
And that committee has representatives of all the members of the National Security Council.
Yes.
So you confirm that that committee has a person from the Attorney General's office, a person from your office, and a person from your minister's office, CS Kipchumba Murkomen.
Yes.
Therefore, it appears to me that you need to consult with the National Security Committee in order to make a decision on how to proceed on this matter.
My lord, that is not the position. But now we are at a position where the Sub-County Security Committee has escalated
Yeah,
that issue to the Regional Security Committee.
yeah.
I'm hopeful that the Regional Security Committee will be able to guide the Sub-County Security Committee on whatever probably they requested, because I have not really looked into the details of the letter of request. So, if the Regional Security Committee is satisfied that they can be able to offer the necessary guidance, either additional officers, additional equipment, and so forth, then the sub-county will be able to do their job. If the Regional Security Committee feels that they are not in a position to do that, then they can be able to escalate it to my office. And I said that in the course of business in my office, since I am a member of the National Security Council Committee, and I feel that we need to interact with that matter, considering the fact that it has wider security implications, we can be able to do so. If that is not the case, then we move immediately and implement that order if it does not have other security implications.
Okay, you can look at the papers before you, or those ones that have been brought to you. You are aware the enforcement of this order is directed, one, police because of security. Number two, the provincial, well, I'll call it administration. It's being called the provincial.
It's Ngao, National Government Administration Office.
Well, it's still the administration minus the province. It's directed to police for security, administration, and education office. Therefore, it does not have anywhere where the members of the public are involved in the litigation other than directors of the school.
My lord, I said from the word go that this is a matter that can have wider security implication, considering the fact that the school is in an informal settlement, which is densely populated, and the people there, they have their own grievances that can constitute what I'm referring to as serious security implications. And that is what, as the Inspector General, I am responsible to the security of these people and even to the wider community security. So upon making these decisions, we must also address the other issues, that what if this happens? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? So, my lord, that's why we are saying there is that consultation from the Sub-County Security Committee to the Regional Security Committee so that they can be guided while making their own decision. I submit my lord.
With that long explanation, long and winding, I would say, are you aware that 2nd of January this year, when the directors of Gatoto went to take over the school, there was no commotion, only the police came, interrupted the takeover, which had gone on smoothly, and charged the directors with criminal offenses in Makadara. You've been briefed outside. I'm taking 30 minutes. You got a proper brief.
My lord, I'm not aware of that.
And therefore, I'm putting it to you that members of the community have never been an issue, and that the longer it takes, the government officers, mainly the police and the administration, are the ones generating hostility to resist implementation of court orders.
My lord, I'm not aware of that.
And therefore, just like you thought, it may be prudent, therefore, to have your minister and the attorney general, your CS and the attorney general, as the final authorities, because you have intimated that you may want to escalate the matter to the national security.
No, my lord, I have not indicated that I would like to say to escalate the matter to the National Security Council. But what I have said is that if the Regional Security Committee, upon looking into the matters, they find that they need to escalate it to my office, I will look at it, I make a decision, and if I feel that I need to escalate it higher, considering the issues that I have raised about security, the wider security implications, then that is how it will be. But the issue here is that the Regional Security Committee, and this is my belief, will be in a position to guide the sub-county security committee on what is required, or the issues that the sub-county security committee has raised. The regional security may be in terms of support that they may require, and similar other activities to enable it discharge that duty as required and as guided by the court order.
Just to point that to the court order, the explanation given every day morphs to something different. I'll leave the rest to submissions. Clearly, there is reluctance.
Thank you, Senior Counsel. I would like to invite the team from the respondents to their side. Ms. Kiramano?
My lord, I'll take leave and leave the rest of the team.
Yes.
I had indicated I was available for the morning.
Your Lordship, on our part, we do not have any questions for the Inspector General of Police. We believe that the explanation he has offered the court, both before the consultation and after the consultation, is sufficient to give the court a clear picture of the challenge that is being faced despite the willingness to comply with the court's directives. And on that breath, Your Lordship,
yes,
I would pray that the Inspector General be
let me just go through the list of the parties that are present.
In the meantime, Your Lordship, can the Inspector General make it?
Yes. Mr. Danson Omari?
Thank you very much, Judge. Inspector General, due to your evidence that you work with several multi-agencies in security sector to make a decision.
Exactly. I don't work alone. I work with several others to make security related decisions.
Is it your evidence that your decisions are data-based and research-based for you to make a decision?
Exactly, my lord. That is where we are, and that's why I mentioned that we need to get the directions provided by for example, the National Security Intelligence, to give out a clear picture of what we have there on the ground. That is why we need to work together with others, and then the IG can be able to make decisions based on the available information.
Mr. Inspector General, Police, is it your mandate to also look post the implementation of this order about the security after the implementation?
My lord, it is my responsibility, and that is why I mentioned earlier that as we make this decision, we must also look at the wider implication. What is it that can happen, and how can we be able to handle the post-implementation period? We must also address that.
And that will be based on the intelligence reports that you are going to be given to make a decision.
My lord, that is the position.
In the event 1,000 people are killed, who takes responsibility?
The IG takes responsibility, and that is why I have got a duty and responsibility while making these decisions to also look at the wider implications. What is it that can happen, and how can we be able to deal with the issues? What would happen if we lose school children, small school-going children, in the course of implementation of the order? That is why we need wider consultation. That is why we need to bring everybody on board so that the decisions made also takes care of the security component of the people.
Lastly, Inspector General, please. You have been asked by councils, senior councils too. Are you refusing to implement the court order?
My lord, I can never, not even in a single minute, refuse to implement a court order. What I only said is that we are considering all the other factors. And if the factors are such that they point to a direction which can be dangerous, we will come back to this court and say, this is the position, my lord.
Councils have asked you a lot about orders from above. Seniors, in the affidavits, your officers are talking about seniors. Could you elaborate to the court the structures of the police?
My lord, we have structures through which the National Police Service works. For example, at the station level, this is a center of excellence for service delivery to the people. And we have an OCS. My lord, we have a supervisor of the OCS who is the sub-county police commander, supervising several police stations within that sub-county. But this sub-county police commander is also answerable to the county commander, but in Nairobi case, he or she is answerable to the regional security commander. But the regional security commander is also a member of the regional security intelligence committee, where again they sit down, look at the security sector, how it is evolving, make decisions that guides and helps the regional police commander to ensure that there is safety and security to the people and their property. So the OCS, if he fights difficulties, he will always refer back to the sub-county police commander, who is his superior for that matter. And if the sub-county police commander fights their difficulties, he or she will always refer to the regional sub-county commander for the case in Nairobi. For the other areas, the sub-county police commander will always refer to the county police commander that I have found the difficulties in this. Please help me. Please assist me in the way forward. And if the sub-county police commander finds that it is difficult, then again it is referred to the regional police commander, who is again a member of the regional security committee. If the regional police commander feels that this is a matter that needs to be deliberated by the wider security committee, then it is tabled there for deliberation. And finally, you will get back the feedback, which now you can be able to go and implement or even advise the county police commander or even the sub-county commander for that matter. And finally, the station commander is well advised on the way forward when it comes to matters security, because security matters are quite sensitive in my road.
Lastly, you have been asked that you are the substantive command head of the National Police Service pursuant to Article 245 and Article 244. Have you ever escalated a matter from your office to another higher level?
Yes, we always do.
That's why
My road, we always do that. We always do that because security is a shared responsibility. It's a shared responsibility, which needs very serious considerations, especially when making certain decisions that have got serious implications, especially to matters affecting life and properties.
And the largest and national, the final decision is normally made on security matters under which body?
The body that makes the final decisions affecting security matters of the Republic of Kenya is the National Security Council.
Chaired by who?
By His Excellency the President. Such.
And you,
I'm
are you a member
I'm a member
of that committee, council?
I'm a member of the National Security Council.
So this matter, depending on how complex it is,
Yes.
there's a possibility it can land to that organ.
It can still add to that organ.
Thank you.
My road.
Thank you, my lord, for that option.
Mr. Nemodi?
My Lord, I am quickly aware of your Lordship's desire to get through your course list for today,
Yes.
and it is indeed a Friday.
Yes.
There are issues of law that arose in the questions from my learned colleagues, and I don't believe there is any amount of questioning to the Inspector General of Police that can resolve those issues of law, so we will deal with them in submission. Okay. My Lord, mine really is just to put on record that the Inspector General of Police has, so to speak, spoken to the elephant in the room this morning.
Yes.
And my Lord, what remains is for your Lordship to give directions pursuant to the clear responses that the Inspector General has given. And the summons that have been issued by your Lordship on the 22nd of this month. So, my Lord, we await your directions as to how this matter proceeds from here.
Thank you very much, Mr. IG.
Could I request, because the court will have to give directions to the IG, my colleague would like to address the court for 3 minutes, and myself 3 minutes, so that because the IG came here to assist the court in enforcing the court orders, so that the court can decide whether to issue any orders or directions to the IG before he's released.
Okay. Mr. Omari, Mr. Nemodi?
My Lord, the IG is represented, and the IG orders were issued to the IG on the 22nd when he was not in court, and in deference to those orders, the IG is here. My request, and I believe I speak for all my learned colleagues on this side, is to ask that you release the Inspector General of Police at this juncture, and he abides to comply with whatever directions that your Lordship issues. He has been on his feet for a long time, he has spoken honestly, and everyone has a lot to get through today, my Lord.
Manuel is the same. Can you release the IG? The state security is vested on the whole country.
Ours is kindly detain him a little more. We will submit very briefly so that if there is any order that you may wish to issue against him, it's also fair that he hears what view we have taken of him, but he may sit. We don't need him standing.
Is there a seat there for
Yeah,
you?
there is a seat.
I will continue studying my
You
road.
may- you may sit.
Even my road, even now,
Yes.
I will leave here straight and go to North Rift there. So I'm very okay. I'm fit
If
enough
it's
to
okay, we'll
stand.
not keep him too long. We also have other business. We are also equally busy. My lord, clearly you have heard the IG.
Yes.
He is saying on the one hand that he's willing to obey the court orders. The court orders are precise, provide security. On the 3rd of July, on the 2nd of July, no security, it was second, no security was provided by the officers. That time it was not directed at the IG, it was directed at the OCS and OCPD. There are affidavits telling you no security was provided. So really the IG was not here to tell us about the National Security Committee, and even the National Security Committee chaired by the President is not exempt from court orders and obeying the laws of Kenya. Even is the minister responsible for internal security, who is responsible for both police and the administration, is not exempt. So for the IG to say that they need to go meet to discuss and see whether to obey a court order is suggesting that court orders are suggestions which can be amended by a security committee in the office. I'm urging the court to take into account the history in winding up, that attempts to implement the court orders have gone on for most of the year, and that on 2nd of January, and it's on the record, there was no interference by the public whatsoever when the directors went to take over. It is only police who interfered and stopped them and charged them with criminal offenses which are ongoing. That was in January this year, but on the 2nd of July, no police were provided whatsoever, even though we reported to Mukuru Kwaruben police station. And there was just a handful of people detailed to cause havoc and who damaged our vehicles as we drove off. So this is something arranged. Bring it to an end, my lord, by ordering the Inspector General before he leaves and giving him a specific date. Monday wouldn't be too soon for him to provide security, for the directors to take over. If any other problem arises, we will come back to court. Let them not anticipate what the public will do or not do. This school, after all, was run by the same directors for the longest I remember, according to the record and according to the judgment. I am not testifying, it's what is in the judgment. So we urge you to end this, what is turning into a circus.
My lord, in addition to what my colleague has said, the petitioners will not need to examine any of the other officers of the National Police Service who are present this morning or afternoon. We, however, request that they continue attending the court until this matter is completed and the court orders are obeyed. we further request that because the failure to comply with court orders ultimately is the responsibility of the Inspector General of Police and the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Kenya Police Service. The two officers be retained subject to the authority of this court until the court assures itself that its orders have been complied with. In other words, on our side, we ask the court not to release the officers, but to direct them to return to court on a day to be determined to give proof of compliance and full compliance, my lord. Not via affidavit, not via any other officer, but in person, so that the authority of this court as a guardian for the Constitution and the law can be respected by every state and public officer. In regard to the information shared by the Inspector General of Police, our request to the court is to give orders directed at the Inspector General of Police and each of the other officers summoned to court who are under his command to immediately deploy the required number of officers to the subject school to ensure peace and security and also compliance with the court orders. Let them determine on operational basis how many officers they need, but let them ensure peace and security. We further request the court to direct that the compliance with the court orders be done within the next 7 days, and that we return to court with the permission of the court on the first week of the High Court vacation to confirm compliance with the court orders. Further, we ask the court to direct that failure to comply within the time to be indicated by the court will be treated as contempt of court and thus subject to any sanctions that are within the authority of the court. My Lord, if the court allows, that will help us to deal with the security officers present so that we then focus on the education officers without the need for receiving further testimony from the other security officers present. And on behalf of the petitioners, allow us to say we thank the Inspector General of Police for coming to court this morning. We, of course, have heard that the Deputy Inspector General was out of the country, and we will be requesting that he also come personally the next court attendance and provide evidence to the court that he was indeed out of the country today, because the order in the summons was for personal attendance. My colleagues in your council would like to just make one favor.
Just one sentence as I did,
Yes.
that we are not at all asking for use of violence in the takeover. Because I know somebody may come up with that. There are many ways police can enforce a court order without use of violence. So we want that to be very clear.
Ms. Kiramana.
Thank you, Your Lordship.
Mr. IGP, you still insist on standing. You can take a seat. Yes, Ms. Kiramana.
Yes, thank you, my lord. First, I'd like to indicate to court that the purpose of today's summons for the officers and the other, basically all the witnesses that were summoned to appear to court today, was to assist the court in getting a clear picture and indication of the status of compliance. Your Lordship, I would submit that the Inspector General of Police has offered that extensively to show the court what efforts have been made by the National Police Service officers to comply, the challenges they are facing, the steps they are taking to resolve those challenges, and the timeline they need to be able to give the court a proper report of how far goes the compliance. Your Lordship, contrary to what my learned seniors have submitted, the meeting for the Regional Intelligence Committee is not to deliberate whether they should comply, but rather to deliberate on how to comply, bearing in mind the challenge that has been explained by the Inspector General of Police that has previously been produced in various affidavits that are already on record before court by various officers, including the OCS of Kwaruben Police Station. Your Lordship, it is clear there have been attempts. Giving a strict timeline without resolving the issues that have been raised by the person responsible for the enforcement will bring us again to this position. We would urge the court to give the IG the timeline that he has requested, to be able to come up with a proper formula to ensure compliance with the least possible casualties. As has been indicated, the resistance and the hostility met might lead to a possibility of use of crowd control measures, which in a school setup creates a challenge because there are children involved. We therefore would pray that this court to allow the Inspector General of Police the time he has requested so that he can be able to get the clear picture, have the deliberations with the relevant intelligence and security organs, and designate the necessary troops and platoons to be able to enforce the court's order. On the question of attendance by the Inspector General, Deputy Inspector General, and the other witnesses that have been summoned, Your Lordship, we would pray that there is no need for them to appear physically. Rather, after today's testimonies, they can provide the account by way of affidavit evidence, which is a recognized mode in our judicial system. Thank you, Your Lordship.
Mr. Omari, for the fifth.
I take a short time, then I donate some small time to Martin. Agenda-based, I don't want to be beaten hard. My Lord.
Yes.
What has come out very clearly is that the Inspector General of Police is a bureaucracy, not a person. And that bureaucracy works with the structures which has expanded to a new concept in government called the multi-agency approach to everything. My Lord, that is the complexity before you. Number two, my Lord, narrowing the issue to police officers going and saying you are the owner, sit in an office. It's a very simplistic argument. The Inspector General has depicted the ecosystem for implementation of this court order. Third, my Lord, the question of numbers, how many police officers will be there? My answer to that is that before the Inspector General Police became the Inspector General Police, police were recruiting based on physical strength. Today, police work based on intelligence, intellectualism, and science. The implementation of a court order is now pegged on the Bill of Rights, the human fundamental rights. And the Inspector General of Police knows that. In the enforcement, the international conventions and the constitutional requirements on human dignity and others must be followed. What my seniors are telling the Inspector General is get 50 lorries, put police inside, go and chase people. That era of policing was in 1950s, not anymore. Lastly, my Lord, my good seniors have, my president of the Law Society of Kenya understands, as the head of over 25,000 of us, the bureaucracy run at the Law Society of Kenya. My other senior counsel has sat as a cabinet minister of this country. She knows the procedures of government. The Inspector General is not saying he does not want to implement the court. They are looking for modalities. And they are begging for more time to get those modalities right, so that he does not appear at the ICC. Nowadays, the law has a human face. Lord, allow my good sister for gender balance to also say something.
Good afternoon, my lord.
Good afternoon, Ms. Speaker.
I will be very brief.
Yes.
My lord, I do associate myself with the submissions by Mr. Danston Omari.
Yes.
And I do believe the presence of the IG of police this morning is a demonstration of good faith, and that he has answered all the questions that have been posed to him to the best of his knowledge, information, and ability. He has gone forth to tell this court of the gray areas that are surrounding the enforcement of the subject court orders. My lord, even as we'll be guided by your directions, I wish to emphasize to this honorable court that justice calls for the balance of rights of all parties, including the petitioners, the public interest, and especially the children of the subject school. Therefore, my lord, I would pray that as the court is giving the directions, the most fundamental principle to be observed is to take account of the best interest of the children as provided for under Article 53 of the Constitution of Kenya, even as the orders are being enforced. So that when we appear again before you, my Lord, we are not at one hand talking of successful enforcement of court orders, but uncountable casualties because of enforcement of such court orders. It would only be just and fair if the court does considers in its discretion to grant the IG of police reasonable time in light of the circumstances that have been explained to the court, that the pupils of this primary school not be present. The officers who are mandated to enforce these orders are probably parents of the children that school in that school. My Lord, we are entirely in your hands, and we pray that our submissions will be considered in the interest of justice. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. That's on behalf of the fifth harassment, save that Martina didn't tell the court that I'm a former children officer and also a teacher. Understand the rights of children. More than I really fight for children.
You were before me yesterday. I think you told me that you were a teacher.
Both. A teacher and a children officer.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So now that I'm an advocate, I really am asking, will the IG destroy the children let anybody look at those children.
Mr. Nyamwadi?
My Lord, I am acutely aware that
Yes.
the court still has work to do. Where I want to just share with your Lordship a few things that I believe should inform your directions.
Yes.
Because what will come out of today's exchange, however heated, however intense, however long, is just directions. But before I do that, my Lord, and where I want to start should have formed the substance of an objection. When learned senior counsel Martha Karua was on her feet, said she's not in court, but because what she said may unnecessarily sully the court record, I want to put my objection as follows.
Yes.
My Lord, learned senior counsel referred to what was going on in this room as a circus. My Lord, before you I see no clowns. A circus is manned by clowns. My Lord, these are serious proceedings.
Your Honor, I'm forced to rise because now I have to rise in defense of my colleague. I think what my colleague should be doing is focusing on the proceedings. If he puts the character of senior counsel Martha Karua on record and he starts challenging it, then I'm forced to object because that is not what we are dealing with. Let him focus on the issue of the Inspector General of Police. And to clarify, Senior Counsel Martha Karua was not referring to the proceedings in this court, but to what has been happening outside the court as a consequence of the proceedings. Now that she's not present, I think it is only fair for my colleague, out of even courtesy, to focus on addressing the subject matter that has brought us here.
My Lord, the choice of words was that of senior counsel. It was not mine. And in human interaction, a good reason to measure yourself is you're not in charge of a response. The word clown is on the court record. My objection is that these are serious proceedings, and that is evidenced by the fact that they are presided over by yourselves. Those before you are represented by eminent counsel and senior counsel, and that there are senior government officials this morning and this afternoon in attendance pursuant to your summons. By no stretch of imagination can that be described as a circus. I leave that there.
Okay.
My Lord, I wish you to bear the following in mind. My Lord, these are proceedings primarily between private parties. The proceedings were conducted and they were concluded and the court made judgment. My Lord, judgments of this court are not ordinarily enforced by the National Police Service. My Lord, the choice to have the judgment of this court enforced by the National Police Service clearly speaks to the fact that the enforcement of the judgment requires an intervention other than the ordinary enforcement of judgments. And my Lord, I believe that point is foundational and it should not be lost throughout these proceedings. There is a need for the intervention of the National Police Service, who don't ordinarily get involved in the implementation and enforcement of court orders. Secondly, and most importantly, my Lord, bearing that fact in mind, and having invited the National Police Service into these proceedings, the National Police Service are the experts in security. It is for the National Police Service to determine what is safe and what is not. And if in the implementation of the court order, my lord, as the Inspector General said whilst on his feet, any harm, injury were to take place, that liability would vest not with the petitioners, not with the owner of the school, not with council, not with the court, but with the National Police Service and with the Inspector General of Police. So his assessment of what is safe, what is possible and what is not, is unchallenged. Not by submissions, not by argument, not by anything else. We must defer to his assessment on that. My lord, the Inspector General has gone to great lengths to explain what has happened in the attempt to enforce the order. And I trust and pray, my lord, that it is clear to the court that there has been no disobedience of the order. With the best of intentions, my lord, court orders do indeed take some time to implement. And again, looking at the history of this matter, my lord, it was a constitutional petition where judgment was entered, and in the enforcement of the judgment, the National Police Service has been dropped. And the Inspector General has laid it bare what the NPS has done so as to effect that order. My lord, I wish you to bear in mind that the ordeal that learned senior counsels for the petitioners ask your court to prescribe in this matter is unknown to the law. It is an ordeal other than that ordained by the Constitution. My lord, the petitioners seem to want to get this court to do two things: to get the Inspector General to act, and more profoundly, to direct him how to act. My lord, with tremendous respect to the petitioners, that is not possible. If for no other reason, my lord, because of the provisions of Article 245, Sub-Article 4 of the Constitution.
You said which provision?
Article 245, Sub-Article 4. The Inspector General takes directions from no one as to how the work of the police is carried out. That is the meaning of independent command. If this court, at the behest of the petitioners, were to direct that the Inspector General of Police find 1 platoon, 2 platoons, 3, 4 platoons, and go and enforce the court order, that would be going beyond what the Constitution provides.
Are you not making a very extraordinary statement?
It is only if it is.
Is he not subject to the Bill of Rights, for example?
He's subject to the Bill of Rights.
Yes.
But learned counsel seems to suggest that the court can tell him how to do his work by prescribing how many.
Okay.
That is an issue that has been left for your lordship to direct. And whereas I concede that it is indeed within the court's ability to direct that he assists in the enforcement of the order, the how must be left to him. My lord, contempt is a serious issue. And as an officer of this court, I must state that orders of this court and processes of this court must only be taken seriously. Contempt is a finding that is made through a judicial process. My Lord, earlier on I said what learned senior counsels prescribe is an ordeal, and this is the second reason I say it is an ordeal. There are no proceedings that have taken place before you up to this point, whether we have been in court or not, that would enable your lordship to conclude that there has been contempt. Ordinarily, my lord, and maybe the practice of this court has changed, courts normally require potential condemners to show cause. Why they should not be convicted of contempt. And I submit, my lord, that that is a duty placed on court, and it is not a courtesy that the court extends to parties before it. It is a duty placed on the court by the provisions of Article 50 of our Constitution. The issue must be framed. The court must call upon a potential condemner to show cause. And only after those proceedings can a finding of contempt be made. My Lord, in respect of the suggestion made by learned senior counsel Mr. Kanja about the further compulsory attendance of the attendance of the DIG, Mr. Langat, to explain where he was, I believe that would be losing sight of the proceedings that are before court. It has been stated that he is out of the country, and it is possible to demonstrate, my lord, by way of a deposition, where he was when he left and when he came back. I urge your lordship to guard against allowing these hallowed proceedings before you to again turn into a contest or an unnecessary interaction between the petitioner's counsel and these senior police officers. Lastly, my lord, as I take my seat, in a matter such as this, before your lordship makes the directions that the proceedings before you this morning and this afternoon call upon you to do, I submit that it is of cardinal importance that the court visits the site. It is of cardinal importance, my lord, that the court visits the site when the primary school in question is still in session. And so that the court is able to, so to speak, put its finger on the pulse of the dynamics that the security officers before you have brought to bear. And I go back to the beginning of what I started saying, my lord. These are not ordinary proceedings. And that is why the court found it necessary to direct that the Inspector General of Police, the National Police Service, get involved in the enforcement of the orders. I submit, my lord, that the ends of justice will be best served if the court takes the opportunity in these very serious proceedings to visit the site, appreciate the dynamics, and the context of the directions that you made is then not informed merely just by the exchange of counsel, but by the court's own appreciation of the reality of the government. I'm very much obliged.
Thank you, Mr. Nyamodi.
My Lord, in response to the submissions that have been made, I will start with the last submission that the court visit the ground. This court has already visited the ground and has even recently made orders to visit the ground. But it has been the failure, repeated failure by officers of the National Police Service to provide security that resulted in the abandonment of the second attempt. Let the security be provided. Let the handover of the school take place, and we are very welcome. We would be happy to invite the court to come and confirm that the orders have been complied with. The school in question is well known to the petitioners as well as the community. They have managed the school for more than 30 years, and those issues are captured in the judgment of the court. My Lord, it is not correct, as has been suggested by the Counsel for the Inspector General, that the National Police Service is only joining this matter at the stage of enforcement. The first respondent, OCS Kwaruben Police Station, has been part of the proceedings from the beginning. All the respondents, with the exception of the fifth respondent, are public officers. So the allegation that this is just private proceedings is far from the truth. Who have violated the rights in the Bill of Rights of the petitioners and the community that they have been serving. That issue has already been determined in the judgment of this court. It is also not correct that the proceedings before this court are not formal or regular. Indeed, the proceedings, as we have addressed the court several times before, are founded on a notice of motion application dated 11 September 2025, seeking orders of enforcement of court orders as well as contempt against several named officers, as read together with the ruling of your brother Justice Mwamuye of 22nd April 2026, those two foundational documents allow the court to make any other or further orders as may favor the cause of justice. It is also not correct that the Office of the Inspector General of Police, which is a constitutional office, is either powerless or incapable to act without the concurrence of other offices or officers. That is an attempt to strip the Bill of Rights of its power, or the principal custodian of the Bill of Rights of his authority. The court should not countenance that dual attack on foundational pillars of the Constitution. My Lord, the only reason we have reached this extreme measure and the court has given the direction to summon the IG of police is because of the continuous runaround by officers mentioned as respondents representing various government agencies. To defend the court against further runaround, it is therefore necessary that the Inspector General take constitutional and direct command to secure the court orders and to report to the court on the same. In regard to the allegation that enforcement of court orders and security may lead to violence or affect the rights of children, all these matters were considered both in the judgment of the court that was issued on 12th of June 2025, more than 1 year ago, and in the ruling that was issued in April. These are merely attempts to relitigate a matter the court has settled. My Lord, we've also indicated to the court, and it is not contested, that all schools under the direction of the Ministry of Education go on vacation for 1 month from next week, so that there is no legitimate apprehension of inability of the police service to enforce the court orders. The enforcement of the court orders is what is in the public interest and in the best interest of the community. And the quick enforcement of the court orders is what aligns with the interests of justice. My Lord, these are serious proceedings. The Deputy Inspector General, Eliud Lagat, was required to be personally present. We have received information from the bar about why he could not be present. And we concede that if he is truly out of the country, then that is adequate explanation. But that needs to be verified by the court, And that is why, in our view, both the Deputy Inspector General and the IG of Police should be here. We pray within 2 weeks. Finally, my Lord, I think it would be a moment of great fear for every citizen of this country if the very institution entrusted with the power to provide us security alleges to be helpless to do so in such circumstances. I tremble at the thought what would happen to all those other citizens who need immediate police assistance to deal with insecurity on a day-to-day basis. They will be completely violated of their rights before they can even approach the court. If a situation like this that has been in court for all these months with adequate notice, the police is not able to provide immediate security. My Lord, what happens even to me when I'm walking out of this building if I face security threat? If I cannot depend on the police to immediately provide security, what happens to all those residents of that informal settlement who need security immediately when they report to the police? The National Police Service is required to have the capacity to operate on emergency and immediate basis. They cannot say we need a month, even 24 hours. My Lord, we will be dead if that is how our police service operates. My colleague talked about bureaucracy. My Lord, we will be dead while bureaucracy is happening. Let the court orders of this court, we humbly submit, reaffirm that the police service must have the ability, the competence, and the responsibility to enforce orders and secure peace immediately. Because that is what each and every one of the 50 million Kenyans expects of the police service. Thank you, my Lord.
I have heard the sworn testimony of the IGP of the NPS and the submissions of the councils of the parties. All the parties agree that the court orders must be complied with. The IGP has sought a month to consider the security situation and to determine how best the handover can take place. On the other hand, the petitioners' counsel seek to have the handover done immediately. In my view, the position taken by the IGP presumes that the police are powerless and unable to ensure that peace prevails. That is not the image that this court has of the National Police Service. I have no doubt that the NPS can ensure that there is a peaceful and lawful handover of the school without violence. It was indicated during the submissions that there was a handover exercise in January 2026 that was frustrated by the actions of the officers of the National Police Service. That statement by counsel for the petitioners wasn't rebutted in any meaningful way. There are court orders that were issued by this court. The same must be complied with. Obedience of court orders. Court orders are not suggestions or appeals to conscience of those who are ordered to comply. They are commands that must be followed. To give the IGP 1 month to conduct a study or to consult is to kick the issue into the long grass. This court is not persuaded that the relictions of its duties to ensure that there is justice for all, regardless of status, is consistent with the oath of office. And in the circumstances, and noting that public schools and schools undertaking the national education curriculum will be closed within the next 7 days of the date hereof, and with a view to ensuring that the education of the children is not disrupted, issue the following directions. Firstly, that the ownership and management of Gatoto community-based primary school be restored to the petitioners on the 13th of August 2026. Secondly, that the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Douglas Kanja, who is present, and the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Kenya Police Service, Mr. Eliud K. Lagat, do personally ensure that the petitioners are adequately protected during the handover exercise and that there is adequate security thereafter. There will be a mention to confirm compliance and for further directions on 18th of August 2026 in open court. And for that particular mention, I order and direct that the DIGP, Kenya Police Service, Mr. Eliud K. Lagat, to personally attend court.
Much obliged.
Thank you so much, Mr. Douglas Kanja, the IGP. Thank you for attending court today and for taking time. I know it must have been a very long exercise for you. You are free to leave.
Most obliged, my lord, and I also extend my gratitude to the Inspector General of Police for spending the morning with us, and I also note that the proceedings will continue. My lord, you did not give directions regarding the other officers of the National Police Service who you have just given regarding the IG and the DIG. Yes.
We are still proceeding with the others. I will give directions at the end.
Okay, very well. My lord, then next, as we had indicated, our next request would be then to have the principal secretary in the Ministry of Education for basic education to take the stand, and if he's not present, as we had, whoever is his representative so that we can address the question of compliance with the orders regarding the education certificate.
Yes, Ms. Kiramana.
Yes, I would, I had indicated to court that the principal secretary is not present, but
Yes.
he has sent a representative. However, Your Lordship, we have one other witness who is unwell and had to leave treatment to come to court. I would pray if counsel would be so minded, we take the testimony of that particular witness so that then we can go back to the hospital and we can be left with the other witnesses. The chairperson of the County Education Board, he's present in person and he has been unwell, he just got back from India for treatment.
Okay. Yes, my lord, I confirm that is my client. I would request that we take.
I would request a 15 minutes break.
My lord, if before the court takes the break, because I know my colleagues who are here on behalf of the IG are present, whether there can be clarification on whether they need to remain present.
Mr. Nyamodi, your representation was limited to?
I'm careful what I say, but I will do what your lordship does.
Yes. Your representation.
We are all part of the same proceedings. What the other witnesses may say may affect my client's position. If the positions are not independent, the subject is the same. We'll
Okay,
see
that's
how-
Okay, very well.
All right.
So let's take that break. It's 2 p.m. We'll be back at 2:15.
Most obliged.